Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Design Recharge. I'm your host, Diane Gibbs, and I'm here with Scott Fuller. And if you aren't familiar with his work, you will be after this. But Scott is an independent. He's a freelance designer that's done a ton of collaborations. And we're going to kind of dig into how he's running his business, his plans for this year, and what he did last year that really helped his business. Because I think a lot of times if you're a freelancer or you're in-house and you're doing some side projects, you always need to know some things that are going on that are going to help you. So that's what we're going to figure out and find out how Scott's been able to do it. So welcome, Scott.
Thanks, Diane. Thanks for having me back on again. It's good to see everybody out there, and looking forward to seeing everybody here in a couple of weeks too.
Yeah. So where are you going in a couple of weeks?
Well, I mean, Creative South starting again. Site launch today. Go check it out, creativesouthga.com. And don't miss this year. It's going to be amazing. But I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there soon.
Yes. Oh, I was just typing it in also. So yes, definitely buy tickets. And I am doing the volunteers. So if you're interested in volunteering, please email me. At Diane@designrecharge.org is good. And then I will make sure that I'm trying to get all that worked out. I know, Peter, you send me an email and I'll get back to you. So, all right. So you mean in a few weeks, Creative South, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Big thing. And you definitely plan in for that part of your business because that's an expense, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Not a huge.
It's not. That's the thing. Yeah, I mean, you look at most conferences and everything. I mean, for the price and everything, it's incredible. And for what you get, I went to quite a few conferences last year, and it still just blows my mind each year. Mike and all the guys over there do a fantastic job, and it's always it's on my calendar for like the next next 20 or 30 years for sure. So don't worry about that.
And it's really built by a whole team. And this isn't a Creative South talk or anything, but Scott and I both really believe, and it's really helped both of our businesses. It's helped both of our just meeting other designers, being able to, because sometimes when you're working alone, that's a problem because then you need somebody to get feedback from or just to kind of lift you up and work as a, what do you think you've used? What do you think you have taken from Creative South that's helped you the most?
I just, you go to a conference like that, and this whole idea of, come as friends, leave as family, I think is true. I mean, I was born and raised in the South, so that rings, it hits you right there. And I'm super, excited to, I was raised in a small town. Columbus to me is still kind of a small town. It has that vibe and it has that type of people. And to be able to build a conference around there, to park your car on Wednesday and not pick it up again until Saturday. I love that. Get to see all these guys, meet these guys. They're all accessible and, they're all just really, really fun to talk to and to hang out with. I've learned so much from the people that I've met to, even, done some work for some folks and, and they keep in touch. I think that's one of the big things, and that's with me, that's with anybody else, but keeping in touch, not just saying hi, but really, really connecting with them there and finding some common ground and everything over that year. And then, you come back to the conference the next year and it's like, man, we had fun this last year. And there's so many things to talk about.
Yeah, because the conversation keeps going after the conference, which I think it is that family kind of aspect. All right, So let's get on to the questions that I sent out in the newsletter. So tell us a little bit about your business and how long you've been doing this as full-time, as a full-time gig.
Studio temporary. I do everything from design and illustration. I've started doing type design as well, brand strategy, different things like that. I came up with the idea about 4 years ago, and I've been working on it on and off on the side and everything for all those 4 years. And in March of last year, I got laid off from my job, and I finally decided, Julie and I finally decided that, I was sick of, depending on somebody else in the company to do their job, so I can keep mine. I was tired of that. So we said, you know what? If you're going to do it, go for it. Oh, thanks. But if you can do it, just go for it. So we went for it. I made a couple of phone calls within about a half hour of getting laid off. And I had 3 meetings that week.
That's what I love about you.
Well, I mean, I love keeping in touch with people, and it's not just, it's not about, I keep in touch with folks just so if I need anything, I don't like to do that. I really enjoy just talking to people. I love hearing about what they're doing. I love being a part of it if I can. That's great. But it just, the Lord worked it out to where, he knew that was the right time, and he knew that, he knew this was the perfect time to get things going. So, first couple of months were good. The summer was horrible. And then
Summers are always hard.
Well, what's bad is, the folks that give you the work leave at the beginning of the summer. Then the folks that write the checks leave at the end of the summer. So it's these month and a half, 2 months that can be a real pain. And I'm learning about that. I've put some stuff in, there in preparation for next year, or for this year. But then since August, it's just been full out, head down, legs pumping, doing whatever I can to make this thing happen.
Well, and you really do hustle. Like you and Rocky are similar, that Rocky had a similar kind of thing. And then he was like, I was sad for like 15 minutes and then I got on the horn. And I think that's very similar to you. It's like, I'm not gonna, I know I have a talent and I have a gift. I need to get it out there. It's just, I'm not in the right spot.
Well, here's the thing too. I was doing a lot of that stuff, even when I was running a full-time job. I was still calling folks. I was still, because you figure, some folks look at having a full-time job maybe as a little bit of a detriment. They're like, maybe I can't do this type of work or that type of work. I look at it sometimes as it was a positive thing for me, because I could say no to things, but I could also, not have to worry about where the funds were coming from, but I could go really, really talk to this one industry or this one person that I've been wanting to do something with for a long, long time, them knowing my situation, but, still being able to do that, come home, work on it for a few hours each night, work on it on my lunch break. I'd say 90% of the lunch breaks that I took in the almost year that I was at my former company, I worked on my own stuff. On my, that 1 hour, I'd go out to the car, take a 10-minute nap, run to Starbucks or something and grab a coffee and work for 45 minutes. And I did that for, like I said, for about 10 months. And then, then come home, hang with my wife, my family, and my little boy, Sean. And, then in the evening, Julie and I, pull up to, in front of watching Netflix or, Parks and Rec or, whatever we were into at the time, and, just get some work done. So it's something that I've always done. It's something that I've always, it's always been a big part of what I do. And my personality, I love talking to folks. I love meeting new people, and, it's fun.
It is. Well, I think you've had it's part of been your system and a way to work for a long time. And it is really a hustle, but you really love what you do. And I think sometimes people get so kind of like down with their daytime job, and then they don't want to do anything at night because they need a break. But really, you've been able to do the type of projects that you wanted on your own time.
And it makes sense. You get, like you said, you get so bummed down and everything. But I'd have to say, for me, all that work that I did when I get home, that's what made it possible for me to get through the day. Because I go through the day, I do a good job. You can still learn things. It might be boring work. It might be, really, really tedious type of stuff. You can still learn some stuff. But I can go home and realize, okay, I can settle down and chill out. And then I can go work on this or work on that. And I can just enjoy it. And that really, really makes, it makes having that 9 to 5 a lot easier. Right.
All right. So, and actually, Julie went full time at home too, like working, and you were doing work for her as well. And so it was kind of like a whole family thing, which is really you have to kind of plan for stuff like that, right?
It really is. And especially, we've got, Sean is, he's in school now, doing the preschool thing. We've worked out a nice little schedule around that. But, I am still working from home. Anybody that knows that is, that is doing that as well knows that there's some things that come up. Sometimes you just can't. You just got to stop everything you're doing, put everything on hold, and you take care of what needs to be taken care of. And one of the misnomers I think about working for yourself is, you have a lot of free time. Not true. I have flexibility, but if I use that at the beginning of the day or something like that, I've got to make it up somewhere. Mm-hmm. So I might be able to move some stuff around, but I still have to make it happen somewhere in some way.
Right. Well, and I don't think you're going to be working at home forever, right? That's not the plan.
Not the plan, but you work with what you got.
But you're going to be doing some days at a new co-working space in Atlanta, right?
Yes. All right.
I was trying to prompt you for that.
Oh, that's okay. Just hold a piece of paper next time.
Okay.
It's Wednesday, just whatever. So I'm going to type in the, let's see.
So you did the brand,
yeah.
Right?
So, that's still kind of in the works right now. But basically, what happened is a buddy of mine who does interior work, interior design. Well, I don't know. Calling him an interior designer would be like saying the president is a well-known leader. This guy is incredible. The work that he does. Anyway, I saw he was working on this cool project, and I commented on it. And the guy that was running it, this guy named Michael Tavani, and he, we started talking back and forth, and he said, "Hey, you ought to come down, check it out, and maybe we can talk." Okay, fine. So we started talking back and forth a little bit. Then he finally sent me an email, and I realized who it was. It was the guy that founded a company called Scout Mob. Michael Tavani, Dave Payne, the two guys that founded that. I had no clue who I was talking to. We went back and forth for a week, and I didn't know which Michael this guy was.
Right.
So we got to meet and talk and everything. And one of the first things they had me do was design this sign for the front of this 90-year-old building. And it got signed, I had this Adam McNeil, a local sign painter in Atlanta, went up there and painted these things. There's two panels up there, 5 feet tall by 45 feet wide, and they are beautiful. I still can't believe it. I cried the first time I saw it. It was so beautiful. But, just back and forth, commenting on little things like that. And, did you have the, I remember if I got the
You didn't send me any from Switchyard, but I can go. I know. Let me go see if I can look it up on Instagram. You keep talking, and I will try and see if I can pull it up.
So it turns into that, and then turns on, and it turns into other little things on the inside, and I'll be doing a lot more work for them in the future. But I'm also going to be part of that co-working space. I have an office there. They're still figuring everything out, getting everything taken care of, but it's going to be great. They're in downtown Atlanta, right there across from like CNN Center and everything like that, right in the heart of downtown. And I'm going to start going there about 3 days a week, and then work from home 3 days a week. And it's a bit of a drive, but it's super, super nice. It's super worth it. It's a great community. There's going to be some incredible folks there. I know that. John, the Black Airplane guys, they're going to be in there. I know about 4 or 5 other folks, incredible, startups and folks in there that are going to be, it's going to be a lot of fun. And Tavani and Payne know exactly how to work this thing. So I'm really excited to see that thing started. But, to be able to go downtown and see, and to be able to see that sign is still amazing.
So Brian got it before me. So thank you, Brian, for being my lackey today. Appreciate it. I'm like having trouble finding the, anyway. All right. So one of the things I love about you is your attitude. Okay. So you have this, like, things don't really get you down, or maybe they do, but you just end up turning them around.
Y'all don't see that.
But I think that's a really, it's a really great way to look at it. So if you have a project or even a side project that didn't work out, you'll try to sell it off something else. So what do you do when a job doesn't pan out, or when you have the work, but you have to scrap it and start over? Do you do anything with the scraps, the unwanteds, the leftovers? Is this part of your business strategy? Because again, it takes a lot of time to do the work. If sometimes people will do like 5 options. Do you do something with the other 4?
I might. I mean, I might not necessarily put that into another project, because for me, I believe there's no template really to start a project. Every single one of them is different. So trying to pull something from one project and make it and make it part of another person's brand or something like that, that may not be the best strategy for me personally. What I'm saying on here might work well for me. It might work well for some. It might not, so you got to take it with a grain of sand. But, to give an idea, I had one project, an identity that I was working on. I started working on a custom typeface for it. Just, I started with just, 5 characters, and then I started to build it out and play around with it. And they scrapped that. Okay. Well, just like, all designers, we all take criticism and disappointment very, very well. Of course, all know I'm lying, but I just couldn't put it down. So I started playing around with it, and it turned into my first typeface, Solid 70. That actually came from an identity project. That option got completely scrapped, and I couldn't put it down. Kept playing around with it, and I was able to turn that into my first typeface.
That's cool. I think you sent me that image.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to find the name of it because they're just by your names. But anyway, I'll find it. Maybe it's this one.
Let's see.
Is that it? No, but I love that one.
I can't see any. I can't see.
It's in the chat. You can't see that. Can anybody else see that?
Huh. Oh, here we go.
I think Abby can see it, right?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
But that's not it, right?
No,
you're talking.
Here. Actually, I've got the poster right here. If you want to.
Awesome. Even better. I'm making him move a lot more than I should probably. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Amy. Let's see if I can repost if it pops up. Nope.
All right. The poster that I sell on my website is a little different. We did one color variation for myself and for Dustin, but this is the big guy right here. Started out, like I said, just for fun, and yeah. So with that, little Solid 70 down there, but yeah, lots of fun.
But like you also did like a side project, and I think it was just for when you were going to be on the Design Recharge show last time, and then you were you sold that design to me, but it was something that you had done, and then you just asked me if I was interested in it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna, just say it was yours, because I couldn't really, I made it for one thing, I do all these little Instagram posts for fun, and they're not really, part of, any big project, just something that I enjoy doing, and, I was like, hey, you know what? I made this thing. If you want it, you can have it. And it was a lot of fun. But, I love doing stuff like that, not something that, has nothing to do with the client, or, it could be something that I was going through at the time,
Right.
I'll take, 20 minutes, a half hour or something just throughout the, once a day or something like that, and maybe make something like that. I've got a bunch of things that I'm going to be, hopefully putting out here in the next couple of weeks, just stuff that I've been working on over the last, couple weeks over Christmas, just for fun, that have nothing to do with anything. But, some of those things
you'll be able to turn around and sell as products on your site, right?
Not necessarily.
Oh,
Not necessarily. It's just for fun. I mean, you do these awesome little, illustrations and sketches and everything, for your site and everything. And maybe you sell them, maybe you don't. But it's just something that you enjoy doing. And I do the same thing with those. And the crazy thing is, people start seeing that. They see the amount of work that you put out, or they see the type of work that you put out. And I've gotten multiple projects just based on little Instagram pieces that I did for fun.
Let's talk about that a little, because that's a advantage. I think one of your superpowers is the ways you've used Instagram to forward your business. And I don't think you're buying ads; you're just actually making connections. So, can you kind of give us a little insight? Because this would be a tip that people could use.
Okay. I've never bought any ad space. I've never paid for any followers, or, all those people that, try to follow me, everything are blocked for all eternity. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I just started posting things about my life, designing things, like, hey, I'm going to be on here. I'm going to do this, or I'm going to be, like I spoke at Creative South, and I made a little CS monogram, which was fun. Mm-hmm. And then, my little hot chocolate illustration that I did over Christmas, I got somebody who contacted me about something just because of that. It's not necessarily, what is it? It's not necessarily, I'm not trying to get anybody's attention or trying to, get a certain type of project. I'm just being myself.
Right. So I have a question. So, and Andre has a question also. And Andre's from, I can't ever remember. I'll remember. It's another country over in Europe, and it's not Spain. It's near Spain. Portugal? Mm-hmm. Portugal. It's Portugal, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, hola.
So he says, why do you have your URL pointing to Dribble? Is Dribble, because I put your studio temporary, maybe something mm-hmm. didn't come over right?
No, that's fine. I did that on purpose. Okay. My website's in the works right now, so I figured, if I send somebody to studio temporary and, goes to Dribble or whatever, why not?
Right.
I'd rather have folks typing in that address, and then when the new one comes up, they go there.
And then you see all your work on Dribble. And he asked, are you getting a lot of work from Dribble?
No, not one bit. I've got maybe one project and one speaking gig off of Dribble, and that's it. I get a lot of my work has come from either Instagram or just conversation that I've had with folks. So okay. So do you search out companies that you think maybe need some help, or how are you finding? Because I think you're doing some direct messages to people to start conversations. Because I think that's different than a lot of designers are doing using Instagram for, because usually they're just posting. And then are you tagging things really strategically, or are you just tagging or not tagging at all? Just tagging, one or two things. I try not to do a huge, bunch of stuff. But as far as the whole DM stuff goes, I might reach out to a few folks because I want to do some work, but I'd say half the time I'm reaching out because I love their stuff. I really dig what they're trying to do. And I want to, talk to them, or I want to, get to know them a little bit better or something like that. And, maybe even collaborate or something like that. But I don't know. There's not necessarily it's like there's no rhyme or reason, I guess, to why I do it. It's just, I talk to some folks, and, some folks send me things, or we end up talking more, or we end up, going for coffee or lunch or something like that. And,
so is it like designers or design firms or illustrators or magazines, or
it could be, it's been everybody from, some of my favorite designers to, to a little manufacturing company, to a local place or something like that. It's just for fun. But there's interest. It's just my interest. And that's one of the coolest things about what I do, and about, really.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. It's one of the things that I love about what I do, and it's the whole cold calling and everything like that is is what is it? I'm calling folks. It's, I'm calling folks and doing this because of, it's something fun. It's something that I would love to do. It's something that I would love to be a part of. Is it a little selfish from time to time? I'll be honest and say, yeah. I mean, I've wanted to work with a motorcycle shop for years. My dad raced Supercross back in the day, and I finally got a chance to work with some awesome guys in town, and that to me was amazing. But it started out just, hey, I love your stuff. I'd love to stop by and say, hey, I'd love to just, shoot the bull or whatever for a little bit. I'll bring you some posters or something for your time, and just have it and just enjoy myself.
Right.
I wasn't necessarily trying to get work out of it. I just enjoy hanging out with folks.
And you were building relationships, you're building friendships. And if something comes out of it, that's fine. But again, it's just your interest that you always wanted to work for a motorcycle shop or something like that. That's cool. That's a really neat kind of strategy, even though you say it's kind of not, it's on a whim, but really that is a specific strategy not to go after a niche group, like, oh, I'm only going to do motorcycle things. So you really kind of spread it out, but it's like, I'm interested in this, and kind of spread it out.
Yeah. And, I'm always looking to learn new things. I'm always looking to, figure out different things or, see how other folks, do business or different things like that. And, that's just one way. I'll call folks out of the blue. I'll email them or text them or something like that. But, it's just one way to talk to people.
So what does that conversation look like? Because I think I just am trying to give somebody like a step-by-step on how would somebody go about that? Like, how do you start that? Do you ask them a question, or do you say, hey, would you like to do this? Or do you have like more of an opener kind of, or
like I said, it's not necessarily a strategy. It's just, hey, I'm really enjoying your stuff. It's really cool. Sometimes they're already following me. Sometimes they're not. We'll start up a conversation or something like that. Some folks, they'll say, hey, what do you guys think of this, or, this identity or something. If it's something really, really cool, I might say, hey, if you have any questions, give me a call,
Right.
But I'm not trying to be, this forward, like I'm not a salesman. Now granted, I know as a freelancer and everything like that, we're businessman, designer, accountant, salesman, PR guy, all these different things. We wear so many different hats. But ironic that I'd still wear the same one. But it's just part of it. But there's no. It's really weird because there's really no strategy to what I do. I'm just enjoying talking to people. I've seen my dad, growing up there in his shop, ran his own company for over 20 years. I've seen him, just talk to folks that come in the door or folks on the street or something like that. But, just me being me. And in answer to Lenny's question about my beard, I use Old South Supply beard oil. I'm coming down to Columbus tomorrow, not only to see Mr. Mike and Matt and maybe Porter, if I'm lucky, and all those guys, but I'm also picking up a nice supply of beard oil to take home with me. And I think we lost Diane. There is an open seat. Anybody want to fill this? No one? Y'all want to see me juggle?
I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. I have all these people. So
thank you for coming back. I have no clue how to juggle.
It's okay. I'm good. So I will be letting people join in at the end, and we're getting close. So you'll be able to get your time, and definitely Mike, you're all next week too. So, and Tim, you can definitely ask a question. So I want to ask you a couple questions more about Instagram, because it is one of your best sources for getting leads or generating. And I'm sorry, I have no idea. I'm actually plugged into the wall, so I shouldn't have any problems. So you direct message people. What kind of image are you direct messaging them?
Sometimes it's just my logo, big yellow background, bright red logo, or it's just a message. I've got to the point now to where that yellow and red is kind of, I use it everywhere. So right. I'll just send them that if they have any questions about, who it is. Because if I start sending them a picture of me, that might automatically turn them off, I mean, I know I have a, luxurious beard. Thank you, Lenny. But, I just, I gotta be careful. So half the time I just send a picture of my logo, or I'll just send them a message.
Okay. All right. So how much time do you spend per day generally on social media and specifically on Instagram?
Not an incredible amount of time. I mean, the folks on the Slack channel can attest to that. But, I try to check in every couple of hours. I'll figure out, hey, I'm posting this or that or something like that. But sometimes it's just, after dinner, sometimes it's taking a break. Sometimes I'm sitting on the toilet. I mean, it just depends, wherever I happen to be.
So, go ahead.
No, that was it.
So, what are you posting? How many times a day? Because I do think sometimes I usually try to ask that question of people who are really social media savvy. How often is too much, and what are you posting? Are you posting process in the beginning of the project, the middle, the end? And so you'll save a whole project, for 2 weeks so that you can post like a morning, afternoon, and evening. Do you have any, what kind of stuff for people who aren't familiar with your Instagram? And I'm going to post your Instagram link over here.
Here's the best idea, or the best thought that I ever heard from social media. It was a guy named Ben Chestnut, started the MailChimp. If you guys have heard of them, email company, small-ish here in Atlanta, great guys. One of the things he said, if you have to say something, send it in an email. But he said, don't email unless you have something to say. If I don't have, I have to post once a day. Generally, I'd say rarely, unless I'm at a conference or something like that, do I post more than twice a day. Most of the time, I post maybe 3, maybe 4 times a week, if that. So, if you've got something to say it. But if you don't, if you're just looking for, if it's just filler, whatever, you don't necessarily have to post that. Because it's back to the whole quality versus quantity thing. So I went for 2 weeks once without posting anything. I had a few folks say, "Hey, where are you?" I didn't have anything to say. I didn't have anything to post. So so there we go. But I've started posting a few more process images. I've started posting some behind the scenes stuff. Mm-hmm. But if I have something cool to post, I will. If I don't, then I sit back and I, or, just take in and absorb all the incredible work that's out there already,
Right. All right. So I have more Instagram questions. So what do you feel about mixing your, and this was not on our question sheet at all. What about mixing personal stuff, like you and Julie or something within Studio Temporary's, Instagram? What do you feel about doing stuff like that, and how much of that do you think is good?
I don't know. I mean, I'm no social media, guru, so I don't know I'm sure there's an equation or something like that out there of the correct amount or whatever, but it's my Instagram. It's your Instagram, your Twitter, your own social media. It's an extension of who you are. If I decide to post something about my wife's anniversary, or if I decide to design something along those lines, or, break out of, the stuff that I find, or, the projects that I've been working on, or the sketches in my field notes, if I want to post hey, we just got a new kitten, I'll post that if I want to. I don't do it a ton, but if I want to, I will, and if somebody doesn't like that or doesn't want to follow me because of that, that's on them. Right. So, take control of your social media. If you want to say things a certain way, then say it. If you don't, then don't.
But it does really speak to you as a person, and your voice that you're communicating, I think, out to your clients and things like that. Okay. So, I was just making sure I answered. I have been writing extra little questions on the side. So, so Sean wanted to know, what are some of your personal and business goals for 2016? So thanks, Sean.
Well, I mean, I'm about to hit 1 full year of doing this full time at the end of March. I'm sorry, the beginning of March. I'm super excited about that. I want to be able to continue doing this. I want to be able to take on some bigger clients, and to build the brand out a little bit further. One of the reasons that I enjoy, whether it's making posters or T-shirts or something like that, or going out and and finding things like this. One of the things that I really love about this is I get to see it and kind of touch it. I love physical product, and I do anything I can to try to get into that realm. I'm doing sock designs now for a sport company, and I'm super excited about that. Who gets excited about designing socks? I'm like, me. I loved it, and I had so much fun doing it.
So why? And yeah, because that's another one of your superpowers, that you can really get on board with other people's stuff. So why does socks turn you on? I mean, in a good way.
Yeah. Well, if you want to show the Instagram, I put up a little thing right there. Yep. But I've played sports growing up. I've always played ever since I was a little kid. I played baseball, basketball, street hockey, table tennis, and stuff like that. And I've always wanted to, work on something like that. I love packaging design. I love little icons and different things. So, people have asked me before, what's your ultimate project? And I was like, I don't know, because it could be, end of the year, it was those socks. Right now, I'm working on a bit of barbecue and hot sauce and rib rubs and stuff like that for a buddy of mine. That's one of my favorite things that I'm working on right now. I mean, there's no real, rhyme or reason to it, but it was fun. There was somebody who really, really believed in the project, somebody who loved that type of thing, and someone who trusted me as a designer. He said, I have some ideas, and here they are, but I want to know, it becomes a true collaboration. Anytime you're working with a client, it's just a collaboration. Whether it's good or bad can depend on, a lot of it can depend on you.
Right.
So what was the original question? I can't even remember. Personal
or business goals for 2016.
Oh, okay. I told a few people this, but I'm doing it right now. In 2016, I will be launching a table tennis apparel brand. I don't have a name. I don't have a logo. I have just a bunch. I have like a whole field notes, book full of ideas, but I'm going to launch it this year. I might launch it on December the 30th. I don't know when, and I don't know how, but I'm going to launch that brand this year. It is something that I have loved my entire life. Not my entire life, but ever since I started, doing that, playing table tennis, going to the Junior Olympics and stuff like that. And, it's always been something that I've wanted to do. So I'm to the, 108 people that are watching right now. I am going to launch that brand this year.
So, and I think one thing that this shows is a strategy that you are accountable, and you're saying, hey, I don't know how this is going to happen. Anybody who can help me, or anybody can help me get in touch with some people, or do whatever, you're opening that up, and you do ask, you're not afraid to ask, which I think is really good. And you do.
Yeah. And I know, I'm still well connected in the table tennis, in the industry and the local clubs and everything here. I played there for years and years, so I still know quite a bit. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Some benefactors, or maybe some investors or something like that. We'll see what happens. But I'm doing this because I want to be held accountable for it.
Right. All right. So Daniel asked, what motorcycle shops, events, etc. are you designing for?
There's a shop in Atlanta called Brother Moto. It's brothermoto.com. And they came to me to do some work for them. They ended up getting booted out of their space over some stupid zoning thing. East Atlanta Village, you screwed that one up. Anyway, I wasn't able to do the job for them, because they had other things they had to take care of. But I really, really enjoyed the work. I really just enjoyed the guys. The guys are great. And, Jared, Bobby, all those guys, just fantastic. So when they got booted out, they started up this thing called, Taking Care of Business, and to raise money for a new space. So I called them up and I said, hey, I had some stuff I was playing around with. I'd like to donate that design to help you guys out. If you want to print it, if you want to, not print it or something like that, do a pre-sale. All the proceeds go to you, so you can open this thing because you really got a bad, break. And they took it, they enjoyed it, and it was easily one of my favorite projects of the year. And I had a couple of days, a week or something like that, just on and off. There was really no deadline or timeline or anything, but it was just a lot of fun.
All right, so so that's awesome. Thank you, Daniel. And then we do have two that people typed in. So I want to do Mitch's first, since we're sort of in this gamut, I guess. So Mitch asked, running a business yourself, there are lots of different hats you must wear. What have you found necessary to let go of yourself in order to grow? Also, any tools or processes that you have found useful to speed up your day?
Can you repeat the question? I'm so sorry.
Yes, it's okay. So running a business yourself, there are lots of different hats that you have to wear. What have you found necessary to let go of yourself in order to grow? First, answer that one.
I don't know if I've been doing this long enough to necessarily, say that. I mean, I think that, as I get on and as I continue to do this, I always want to be as hands-on as possible. But there are some things, whether it's, screen printing my stuff or making this and that, to be able, to outsource some of that stuff. If I can outsource it, I will. If I can, if I can order something from Amazon other than, going and picking it up in the store or something, I might do that. It's just figuring out how to use your time the most effectively. But you have to, it's just a day by day thing.
So any tools that you've found that kind of help, what did I say? Or he said,
like manage your day?
Tools, processes that useful to speed up your day. Besides field notes, really. And Amazon, probably, I guess, using them. Every
day. I always sit down. I always start out the day, and I have a nice to-do list. I have a list of clients or things that I have to do at the beginning of the book. Then I reach the middle of the book, and I rewrite it. There's always new stuff by that time, or stuff that I've always got done, and I can always go back to either the front of the book or the middle of the book and figure out, okay, this needs to be done. This needs to be done. I'll write a few notes. And different things like that. Most of my stuff is written down, because if I put it in an Evernote or a notes on my phone or something, I'm gonna forget it. But I carry this thing with me every day, always, even around the house, always in my back pocket. I have no,
run out of space.
I run out of space here bad. I go through about one of those books about every 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
I've got a ton of these things, a bunch of used ones over here, a ton that I've not touched yet, but I'll make a pretty huge dent in them this year. But that's been my biggest, thing to really help me streamline my day. So, all right. So what about,
Chris wants to know, do you ever take web work?
No. All right, let me rephrase that. How do you rephrase no? I've never really done web work. I've built some bootstrap PSDs or something like that at my old job, and I did that for a few months, but I'm not a web designer. People have asked me to do, like a little, hero images or something like that. I did that for like Monotype recently, but, there's one of the things to let go of. I realize that's not it's not the avenue necessarily that I want to go. So now if somebody comes to me, I'd say, hey, I might not be able to do this web work, but I know someone who can help you out, and I'll send them to Black Airplane, or I'll send them to Rob, to Peter, or something like that. If I get that type of stuff. Now, I rarely do. So it's not an email that I have to really really answer a whole bunch of, because I never really get any questions about that.
So Kat wants to know, how do you figure out how much to charge your buddies or your friends? And should you give them a discounted rate?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot here. Now all the guys are going to come back and point to this conversation.
It is recorded.
Ah, darn it. Okay. How do you figure out? It depends, sometimes, you do a full price. Sometimes if you want to help them out, it just depends,
Right.
Once again, I'm sure there's an equation. I have, things that I look at, for pricing my jobs just to start out with, like even when, I had somebody like when you and I were talking,
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to give you that because it was fun.
But I wanted to pay you for your work.
Yeah, but you asked me how much would I normally charge somebody, and I told you.
Right.
And we worked out a deal, because
and I said I can't pay that much. Right.
Well, yeah.
And we worked out a deal.
Yeah, we worked out a deal. So there's no, it's kind of like my whole business strategy or whatever. I mean, it's almost like there's no strategy, because, I did that for the guys at Brother Moto because they got dealt a bad deal and I wanted to help. I did another bit for somebody just because I wanted to do the project and it was fun.
Right.
And, and I had the time to do it. But sometimes there's just no rhyme or reason to do it. So you figure it out. If you want to charge them full price, charge them full price. If you want to work with them on the payments, do it. If you want to give them a 15% off discount,
right,
then do it.
Right.
It's just, it just depends on what you're doing. I created a logo for my dad's company. Didn't charge him a penny.
Right.
He paid me. I worked there for him for ever since I was 8 years old. So, and it's something that I wanted to do.
Right.
So,
so
take it or leave it.
Jeremy has two questions. I'm gonna put his up, but I'm gonna read his first because he also wrote one in. Many creatives use multiple combinations of social media platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat to reach larger audiences, or maybe Periscope or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
How did Instagram help you connect with a broader audience, which I think we've covered to some extent, and why was that your platform of choice? So really, why Instagram over some of the other platforms?
Visual. I enjoy, maybe I'm not the greatest writer, or maybe I don't have, the biggest following here and there. But as a designer, I just enjoy I'm a visual person. People, you can talk to somebody over the phone, you can kind of get this idea. But if you see their work, if you see kind of who they are and you get to know them a little bit, whether it's through their images, through talking with them face to face, you really get a sense about that person. But with me, I'm a visual guy. So Instagram seemed to be it. I could put that on Facebook or put it on, Twitter or whatever. But it was just, to me, it was just fun. And it's made a lot of sense, in the past, and it's still making a lot of sense right now. So I'll continue to do it. For me, it's just fun. I don't do, I just did Snapchat. I think I did my first account like a couple weeks ago or something. I think I've sent maybe 2 messages. It gets to the point too where there's so many things competing for your time, for your for your focus or whatever, right, that you just pick. So I picked. So and I'm enjoying it.
And it's probably a good medium for a designer, I think, also to reach other designers and to reach out to businesses that are also visual. So retail stores or something like that. So I think that that's really good. So I'm going to read this question below me. Angie J. Miller and Brandon Reich or Reiki. I don't know how to say
Reich. Brandon Reich.
Reich.
Love
okay,
those
great.
guys. Love those guys.
Just mentioned in the Creative Pep Talk podcast that in design/businesses, there are 3 types of people: the entrepreneur, the manager, and the creator. Would you say you're a good balance of all 3, or do you have trouble bouncing between the 3? That's a great question, Jeremy.
Yeah. And to be honest, I feel like, I think as designers, in and of ourselves, I think the creator thing a lot of times is a given. But I feel like more creator, entrepreneur, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I have difficulty managing my time. Sometimes I have, I get so focused on one thing that I can neglect other things. Whether that's here in the office, whether it's in the, whether it's in the home, whether, just being completely honest. So I think that, as an entrepreneur, trying to find new things, I definitely enjoy doing that. As a creator, I'll let my clients decide that one. Whether they pay me or not. But I'd say manager is probably the one that I'm looking to really improve going into 2016.
Okay, cool. All right. And I think that is all our outside questions besides Travis's have you ever been a Walking Dead extra?
No, I have not. Also, here's a little tidbit for you guys. I grew up about 10 minutes away from Sonoya or Woodbury, as you would call it, that little town. And I think that it's been great for the local economy down there. The only thing that I absolutely detest about The Walking Dead in general is that now when I go into this awesome little quaint downtown area, there's blood and guts and machetes and whatever all over the street in these little antique shops that I love going in, and I hate it. I'm not gonna lie. They have like meet and greets and stuff like that down there all the time. I'm sure it's a fantastic show, but for me, it's like I've seen so much of it. It's kind of like, you live in New York or something like that. You go to New York for the first time, you see Times Square and you're just awed. But somebody who's grown up there their entire life might just say, it's Times Square. Like I would say, that's Peachtree City.
Right.
But no, I have never been an extra on the Walking Dead.
Okay. All right. So you seem to collaborate a lot. I know we have like 8 minutes. So tell me what images you want me to show. I think that, again, is one of your superpowers. How have you approached people? Do you have an actual topic or actual idea for a project, or do you work something out, or how do you start that?
Sometimes there is an idea. Sometimes there's not. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it. There's a guy on here right now whose name I will not mention, but we talked. We just started talking, and then it was, hey, maybe we should do this. Yeah, that might be fun. And then there's another chat about, hey, I have an idea. Okay, well, I have an idea. There's no timeline. There's no, none of that type of stuff. And sometimes there's an idea. Sometimes there's not. Right. So just going in there with an open, having an open mind to, to what could be or, not be or whatever, always fun.
All right. So talking about being the manager and that being a goal for 2016, how do you manage multiple projects and still give realistic deadlines? Because me and you talked the other day about over promising and over delivering, but really you under promise and you over deliver is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. So, and that can still be true. I mean, I'm kind of airing everything right here, but I set, like we all do, I try to set as good expectations as I can. I try to push myself. I want to push myself to do better and better and better and better. But I have to give myself some room for error. some room for life, for things that might happen or things that go wrong or different things like that. You have to give yourself that time. And I made that mistake at the beginning of last year, and I had to eat crow on a few things. Sometimes it happens, but I made that a point, especially towards the end of this last year and going into 2016, that I can't say something and then above all you have to deliver, because I think I've heard this said before, if you have incredible work but you can't deliver on time, then it's kind of useless.
Right.
Somebody might go for somebody who does adequate work, but they deliver on time every time. I don't ever want to be put in that position.
Right.
So so you just kind of take it along that way.
All right. So talk a little bit about your typeface. I know you showed us the poster.
Which one?
Either one, actually. Which was the first one?
The first one was Solid 70. The one he showed. If y'all haven't seen it, is this guy. There we go. These posters are for sale on the studiotemporary.bigcartel.com, and the typeface for sale at retrosupply.co. Pitch over. What was the question again? So
how do you start doing a typeface, and why did you start doing type? Because it's a challenge.
I've always enjoyed messing around with type in general. I've always loved tweaking that type of stuff, and I love the subtleties. I love the precision of a lot of the stuff. I mean, it goes back to my machinist background. I've always loved this stuff, and somehow, some way, I have the patience for it. And it's something that I really enjoy. I have incredible folks to help me out. Maddox Schuler, Jason Karn. These two guys kind of took me under their wing. I've talked, was it James Edmondson from San Francisco. He gave me some super incredible tips at TopCon in November. The type design community is unbelievable. I've never met a group of folks that are just so passionate and so helpful, of somebody who's wanting to try to get into that type of industry. I don't know. I mean, the impetus for designing a typeface could be, I want to write out the Studio Temporary in a typeface that no one has ever seen before, right. Or creating it for this project or for that project. It could be a lot of the ads or packaging or packages and stuff like that in from the 40s, 50s, 60s. Maybe they only illustrated a couple of words or one word in a typeface. What would the rest of the typeface look like? I feel like that's a question or a question that I would I feel proud to answer. Right. So it could come from from any one of those things, but in the end, it's just something that I really enjoy doing, and I've been able to actually do a lot more with it. Actually, make a little bit of a living doing some of this stuff. But it's something that I'm going to continue to do, whether I make money off of it or not.
Cool. Well, good. All right. So Tim's been waiting a long time. I hope you have all your clothes on, Tim. I know Tim, so I'm hoping he does. I don't think he wouldn't.
Tim.
All right, so let's see if he's there. Tim?
Oh. Come on, where is he? I want to see that mug.
I know, I can't see him. Well, anyway, there he is.
Hey, Tim, my man. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, I can't hear you, but you're not muted. It's really close.
Can't hear you, buddy.
All right. Well, Tim, thank you for coming. And yeah. So
Tim,
I know.
Try again.
Bummer.
Try
I know.
again, Tim.
It seemed like we couldn't hear. So I know. Beth has a question. All right. Beth, are you there? Beth, I can just see the top of your head.
Hello.
Oh, it's a little Beth.
Hey.
Hello, little Beth. All right, I'm going to take you out because I don't know if your mom or dad want you on the computer. Okay, because I don't know, I don't have kids, so I don't know if that's okay. And I'm so sorry, Zach, if I was supposed to. Anyway, all right, Lenny, you're next. And then I'm going to go to Mike, and then I'll try Tim again. But we're trying Lenny.
Please work.
Yeah.
Hey, can
It's
you hear
fun
me?
if this can work. Lenny, you're like, he's like a Dateline kind of exclusive, like backlit.
I have the lamp behind me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you great.
Scotty!
Lenny, I miss you, buddy.
I think all the hair on my head is on your beard. That's what happened.
Your forehead's growing.
It is. Yes, my forehead's growing. I just wanted to pop in and say, good job, brother.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in April. I cannot wait.
Yes.
Got a lot of catching up to do.
And Lenny and I are doing a workshop. So
Yes, we are.
Yes, I saw that. Oh man, I can't wait to see this. You guys are going to be like just dynamite together. It's going to be great.
It will be, and he'll still be backlit. We'll make sure that happens. Okay.
I'll wear my all black and have my flashlight under the skin.
And we can fuzz out your face a little or something, so nobody really knows it's you, right?
It'll be great. Please, somebody get this on camera.
All right, I'm going to get Mike on, and Mike's next week too. So if anybody wants to ask Creative South questions, he's the one. Thanks, Lenny.
Jones. See
Thanks,
ya.
man.
All right, Mike. Mike?
What?
Oh, there he is.
Hey.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes. Hey. How
Hey,
are
what's
you,
up?
Matt?
I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yes. Yes, you will.
Matt
So-
has to scoot back.
No, I was going to lower What? Okay. Hey, serious. Okay, go. Your questions first. What was it? Again? Remember?
He's like a little kid. You asked the question for me, Dad.
You don't remember the question? I don't. You're not even playing along. All right, hey, so let's talk barbecue for a second. Scotty,
Okay.
what's your favorite barbecue and why and where?
Make sure this
Ooh.
Hmm.
I'd say Atlanta barbecue. I really enjoy Fox Brothers. Those guys do a fantastic job.
Yeah.
There was a little place in Tyrone, right around where I grew up. It's called Barbecue Junction. They've since closed. There's a little hole in the wall place. Just blow it away. We used to go eat there every Monday. Also, I went to Memphis for a conference in October.
Josh.
I got to eat at multiple barbecue places, but the best place that I ever ate was these two guys drawing this huge smoker behind this 70s camper or 70s little pickup. They call themselves High Q. You can get a pork sandwich or a chicken sandwich with chips for $5, and
As
it was
should be.
hands down the best barbecue I've ever had in my life.
So, a secondary related question, non-design. What's your favorite kind of sauce?
My favorite what?
Kind of sauce.
Kind of barbecue sauce.
Ooh. I'm not a big fan of. I can't tell right off the bat because I think you eat a lot more barbecue than I do. But I really enjoy. I'm not a big fan of like the really sweet stuff. I like the nice kind of smoky, really with a lot of flavor, but not necessarily like the sweeter things. You know, I like the sweeter things in life, but not necessarily the sweeter barbecue sauces.
Awesome. That's it, man. I
What's
just want to pop
yours,
in.
Mike?
What's me?
Favorite.
Look at me. All of it. All of it.
Favorite barbecue sauce, though.
Oh, I'm on this. I like the sweet side of it, but I mean, if you put it in front of me and taste come, I eat it. Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure that-
barbecue.
We did try all 5 of those ones. We did try all 5 of the ones at Sugars.
Yeah, Sugars is fantastic. Sure.
So yeah, and I gotta throw Sugars in there too. Got to throw Sugars in there too.
Good to see you, man. Good job today. What's that, Diane?
Have either of you ever eaten at Dreamland? It's outside of. So the old one where it was like a shed, kind of. They didn't even give you napkins. You just had to use bread to wipe yourself.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah,
that's the best way to do it. Napkin bread. Keep it in your repertoire. All right.
So Mike's going to be
Mike.
on next week. So thanks, Mike, and we'll see you next week.
Later, guys.
Okay, bye. All right,
Are we
Tim.
going to try to get Tim in there?
One more time.
Come on, Tim. Everything's riding on you, buddy.
And this is it. Tim?
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Hey.
How are you?
Is this a new format? Good. I'm still going to be on the show
Yes,
at some point now.
you're on the schedule,
Okay.
I believe.
March?
Yeah.
It's March, though, right?
Ashley does all the scheduling, so she's incredible.
Okay.
But this is how it works.
Well, and we'll have a conversation before.
Yes, we will.
Hey, Tim, how's it going, man?
Yeah,
You
we
doing
will.
all right?
Good. Yeah, big fan of your work.
Appreciate it. And right back at you, man.
Hoping to get back to creative stuff
Yeah.
this year.
And this
I hope you can.
this time I'll actually see you. You were there last year, and I completely missed you.
I was in stealth
You
mode.
were, man.
No,
This guy does stealth mode like you wouldn't believe.
I guess. I'm thinking about doing a vendor booth this year, but we'll see. I think I'm doing it for one of the things that you talked about, just to force myself to get a bunch of stuff done.
Yeah, I mean, make a deadline that can't be
Yep.
changed. It does wonders for creativity.
Yeah. Tim
Absolutely.
does awesome work, and he is scheduled on the show sometime in March, I think, or sometime.
I think it's the first Wednesday. If
I can look it up really quick.
So what you got, man? What's your question? What you got?
I actually had a question for Mike, but
What?
I guess that's not
March
relevant.
2nd.
Why he hasn't worn the shirt I sent him yet? I'll phone that.
I'll
in
wear
next
mine
week.
on March 2nd because that's when you're coming on. March 2nd. All right. Cool. Well, Tim, have a good semester.
I will have. Yep, I'll have plenty of questions for you at Creative South.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, take care.
All right, guys. Well, I am going to share Scott's information so that if you aren't following him, you can. And he does have a store where he has these amazing posters. Like, the posters are awesome. So definitely check those out. And that is at the Studio Temporary.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, you say it, and
All
I'll
right.
post it.
Go to my website is thestudiotemporary.com. If you want to buy anything from my store, it's thestudiotemporary.bigcartel.com. If you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, it is at Studio Temporary. And man, thank you guys so much for hanging out, chilling out, and all these awesome questions. I got to be on here right before my first big talk back in 2014. And I loved every second of it. And this has just been that much more fun. Diane's been fantastic, and all you guys are awesome. And if you show up at Creative South, I'll give you a hug, give you a sticker, a button or something. Maybe we'll go out and get something to eat or drink. And if not, hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. Hit me up. Shoot me an email, whatever, if you just want to say hey. And, we'll go from there.
And guys, if you want to get in touch with me, you can always email me at diane@rechargingyou.com or diane@designrecharge.org. And then if you want, there's a bit.ly to sign up so you don't ever miss an episode. And I'm at Design Recharge. I have one question for you. It's personal. Well, sort of. It's a question that is going to affect me. So since Design Recharge is kind of like a bigger kind of curation sort of, I've stopped doing some of my personal stuff and put it on my C. Diane Gibbs.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about something like that? Because it is really a curation. Would you say keep doing some of my stuff and just post it still on Design Recharge, or just keep it separate?
I think that depends. I mean, I think Design Recharge, over the last couple of years, has become its own animal. I mean, it is, but once again, it's once again, this is you, so your work, you are Design Recharge. You are Design Recharge, So, you know, I don't know if I'd necessarily want to separate that. I used to have 2 separate accounts. I'd post my personal stuff, and then I posted on the, you know, the studio stuff. And after about a month, I couldn't handle it. I just said, this is me. Why would I not post it here? You know? So if you want to, you know, keep it together, I think, you know, let everybody know. I mean, your Design Recharge, and, you know, go from there.
It's just, I think that's a question that a lot of people have and a lot of people struggle with. And I think especially when you're working something out, like I'm working on some different kind of illustrations, and they're not like super tight, or, you know, like I guess it's not as professional as maybe I would want it to be. So,
all right, you want to know? You want to see super tight? I posted this on my Instagram the other day. This is horrible sketching. This is really bad stuff. This was the final piece that was chosen, you know? This is meant to be, it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be just, you know, this is your sketching. It's your style. It's your work, you know? So if it's a little, if you feel it's a little that way, that's fine, you know? You know, I mean, like all right, here's the thing. I was working on my website the other day, and they're like, what do you kind of want it to look like? I drew that. You know, I mean, how nuts can it, I mean, you know, how perfect does it have to be? You know, a sketchbook's a sketchbook. If you want to show process, you want to show some of the more, you know, maybe some of the stuff you're proud of the idea, but you may not be proud of the sketch. It doesn't matter. People love seeing process.
So I have another question. So what about if I'm taking a picture with my phone, and do you take it on the computer, go to Photoshop, clean it up, make the background, or do you just post it that it's kind of dark?
If it's on
yellow or something.
What I do with there's 2 different things I do. I just take a shot from my iPhone, and then I deal with it in, you know, you just try to take the best shot you can with your, you know, whether it's your iPhone camera, VSCO, something like that. Tweak it a little bit on Instagram, usually not very much at all, and then post it. As far as my design work goes, I'll create the file in Illustrator. I'll export it to my Dropbox as a 300 dpi PNG file, and then I'll upload it that way.
Okay. Anyway, thanks for going over, and I appreciate it. So anyway,
anybody who knows me know how much I love to talk, so I have no problem doing that.
But you gave great content. So, it's really nice to go in and kind of see what you say. It's not a strategy, but it actually is a strategy. You just hadn't thought about it that way, I think. Because I think, but I do believe you're making friends with these people, and you're trying to help people. And that just shows how awesome your heart is. With the motorcycle company, like that's a great part about you. I mean, it's not like you're making millions and it's like, yeah, man, I'll give you this. It's like, it's a struggle. It's always, you know, you're still paying bills. You have a kid. There are all kinds of things that come into it. So I think that's really, really nice. And I try to do something once a quarter that's for free that I just give back. It ends up being more than that sometimes, but especially for people that the project I really believe in or something like that. And I think that's just really important to do. So
that's awesome.
And daycare ain't free, Brian says, even though I don't have any kids. My dog is at play care today, and that's not free.
No.
So. Anyway, Scott, thank you. I'm going to hit the off record, and then I'll say goodbye to you again.
Sounds great, guys. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
Mike Jones. All right.